Hi, this is a stretch video. In this workout, you only need a mat and a towel or a TheraBand if you have one. Remember to breathe throughout the entire workout. Start by placing yourself in hands and knees for cat and cow. Inhale, round your back. Exhale, look to the front edge of your mat so you don't strain the neck. Repeat it, breathing into the stretch each time. Twist open as you exhale and then thread your arms under the body for a shoulder stretch. Take an inhale to bring yourself up and repeat to the other side. Shift your weight back and with your knees apart and feet together, sit back for a hip opener child's pose. Return into hands and knees position. Tuck your toes under and go into a downward facing dog pose. Pedaling the knees one at a time and then both together to stretch the calves and then the back of the legs. Breathe each time and start using your core as you move your hands back towards your feet. Go into a hamstring stretch a little bit more deeply here. Exhale as you extend the legs. Make sure your heels are completely touching the ground at all times. Work within the range of motion you're comfortable with. Trying to go further a bit more each time. Walking back to hands and knees. Shift your weight back and then go into a kneeling position. Step out with your right leg, go into a hip stretch. Touch the floor if you're comfortable with it, and then tuck your back toe and lift the knee off the ground to intensify the stretch. Press your hip down towards the floor and activate the front of your thigh. And switch legs at the end. Always pressing the hip forward so you can stretch the front of your hip. Reach for the floor if you're comfortable with it, and challenge yourself a bit more by tucking your toes and lifting the knee off the ground. Breathing all the time in each pose that you're holding for about 3 breaths. Shift back into child's pose, this time with the knees and legs together to stretch the back. And then moving into a prone position where you're lying facing down. Adjust the bend so it's a little bit higher up by the base of your blade or the base of your bra strap. Your hands are placed directly under your shoulders. As you exhale, lift the head and shoulders off the ground a couple of times, pressing into the bend for some assistance and resistance there. Bring your right leg in, and you may use a band or towel right now to help you stretch the front of your thigh. Monica's going to show how to stretch your quadriceps by pressing your hip into the ground and breathing into the stretch so you can lengthen the front of your thigh. Switch legs after about 3 breaths and work the same way on the other side. Again, doing a quick child's pose here with the legs together to stretch the lower back. Transition into a supine position where you're lying face up. Hold the edges of your band and roll down with control, one vertebrae at a time. Place your feet closer to your seat. Reach your arms overhead. As you inhale, exhale as you bring them towards your hips. You're going to repeat this action a few times to open up the shoulders and work those joints. And then we'll add a hip bridge halfway through it. Coordinating the lower body and the hands and arms. You're going to roll through your spine one vertebrae at a time, tucking your tailbone, mid-back, upper back, and rolling down upper back, mid-back, tailbone as you reach the arm back. Next up, you will place your band over the hips, bring your hips down, shoot your arms back, and work them in a circular motion for 3, 2, and 1 before you reverse them. It's the same exercise, just going in a different direction. Again, working the shoulder joints for better mobility. Bring your arms up and over. And bring your forearms and hands together in a prayer position for a chest opener. Try to keep your forearms parallel to the ground and arms at a 90-degree angle. Exhale every time you open up the arms. Monica's going to loop the right foot on the band and stretch, go into a leg stretch series here. First, limbering the leg, bending and extending 3 times, holding on the stretch, breathing, holding for about 3 breaths. To increase the stretch challenge, slide out your left leg and hold for 3 breaths. Try to keep the knee straight, even if your leg is a bit lower. Holding both straps with your left arm, bring the leg over the body and then return. Slowly working into the IT bend stretch and the back of your hamstring. Out to the side for inner thigh stretch, holding for 3 breaths. Stabilizing the hip of the opposite leg, bring the leg straight up. Bend your knee and place your right foot on the ground. You're going to pick up your left leg and cross in front, making a figure 4. Breathe into this stretch. And then slide your knees in so they are together and then open it out for 3 times. We have one more here, and you can stay here, working here slowly, or lift your right leg off the ground to intensify the glute stretch on the left leg. When you're done, just uncross the leg and then switch the bend to the left foot. And again, start limbering in 3, in 2, and 1. Hold 3 breaths with the legs straight. Inhale and exhale. Inhaling through your nose and breathing out through a straw. And sliding out the right leg. Again, the knees straight, your hip is anchored on the ground as you breathe into this stretch. Both bands come together and you grab them with the right hand, cross over the body and return. 3 times here. As we're easing into the stretches with control, switch the hands on the band and bring the leg out to the side for an inner thigh stretch. Monica placed her hand on the right hip to make sure that she's stable and anchored on the floor. So we need to work with the powerhouse for that. Next up, foot on the ground, cross the right leg in front of the left for a figure four stretch, working from the ground up. Slide the knees in and opening out for one. Slide it in, open out for two. Slide it in, open out for three, and hold. You can stay here for 3 more breaths or pick up your left leg off the ground, keeping your leg parallel to the floor here and work in the stretch. Feel free to thread the towel or the band through your legs to help with your grip. And cross the legs. Still holding with your band, rolling through the side and using your arm to help you bring yourself to a seated position without straining your back. Place the edge of your band under your seat. Anchor both hips to the ground and bend over 3 times as you hold the TheraBand on the other edge. Do 1 counter stretch for this one. And then on the second one, go into a spinal twist as you're pressing both hips into the ground. If you're comfortable in this position, bring your arms into a Sphinx position and you are lower to the ground. Take an inhale. As you exhale, return with the arm up and over and switch sides. So sitting at the end of one end of the band, we're going to work holding the other extremity. Bending over and up. Exhale as you go over, inhale as you go up. Breathe out as you bend and stretch. And back up and going into 2 counter stretches here with a spinal twist if you wish to. Keep engaging your core throughout this whole workout. Excellent. We're going to finish by sitting with the legs crossed. If your hips feel tight in that position, you may place a towel or a yoga mat or a yoga block under your seat to give you some height. Move your arms up and over here, holding at the edges of the band to open up your shoulders and the front of the chest. So make sure you put enough resistance as you're comfortable with. Finish off by rolling your shoulders back and down. Make sure there's no tension there or in the neck area. Shaking yes and no with your head. You should do this workout at least twice a week for better results. It's very important to stretch. Keep your muscles limber and looking nice and long. Good job.